You think you are seeing the world right now, and I want to dismantle that belief carefully, scientifically, and with a kind of wonder that I hope will replace the certainty you walked in with. Because the truth that neuroscience and physics have assembled over the last century is this: you have never seen the real world, not once, not for a single instant in your entire life. And the reality you are so confident about, the colors, the solidity, the continuity of objects in space, the very sense that there is a stable external universe waiting patiently beyond your eyes, all of it, every last detail, is a construction, a model, a controlled, and remarkably convincing hallucination generated inside the darkness of your skull by 3 pounds of electrochemical tissue that has never once been in direct contact with the thing it claims to represent. Verdict 1. Your brain receives no live feed. What you experience as the present moment is already the past, because the neural signals traveling from your retina to your visual cortex, from your skin to your somatosensory cortex, from your ears to your auditory processing centers, all require time, biological time, the sluggish electrochemical propagation of action potentials along myelinated axons, and the total processing delay between an event occurring in the world and your conscious experience of that event is somewhere between 300 and 500 milliseconds, which means that by the time you are aware of anything, a face, a sound, a touch, the moment that produced it is already gone, already receding into a past you can never recover, and your brain, rather than admitting this embarrassing lag, simply backdates your experience, stitches the delay into a seamless illusion of nowness, edits the timestamp on your perception so that you feel present, immediate, synchronized with a universe that has already moved on without you. And this is not a minor quirk of biology, but a fundamental feature of what consciousness is, not a live broadcast of reality, but a rerun, smoothed and stabilized, and delivered to you with the confident authority of something that feels absolutely immediate.
Verdict 2. The world you see is not the world that exists because your eyes, those extraordinary instruments you trust so completely, are sensitive to an almost laughably narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum, visible light, the wavelengths between roughly 380 and 700 nanometers, which represents less than 0.0035% of the full electromagnetic spectrum that actually exists in the universe around you, which means that the vast overwhelming majority of what is physically present in this room, in this city, in this cosmos, the radio waves passing through your body right now, the X-rays, the infrared radiation pouring from every warm surface, the gamma rays arriving from dying stars, the microwave background radiation that fills all of space as the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself is entirely invisible to you, not because it is not there, but because your brain was never built to see it, was built instead by 4 billion years of evolution on the surface of one particular planet around one particular star to detect only those wavelengths useful for finding food and avoiding predators on an African savanna, which has nothing whatsoever to do with perceiving the universe as it actually is. And if you could somehow see the full electromagnetic spectrum, the world you think you know would dissolve into something so alien, so saturated with invisible information, that your current confident picture of reality would look like a child's crayon drawing held up against the complete works of every painter who ever lived.
Verdict 3. Your brain does not wait for sensory data, it predicts it. And this is perhaps the most unsettling verdict of all, because the emerging consensus in neuroscience, developed through the work of researchers like Carl Sagan and Andy Clark, is that the brain is not a passive receiver of sensory signals, but an active prediction machine, a hypothesis generator that constructs its best guess about what the world contains and then uses incoming sensory data merely to correct its errors. Which means that what you experience as perception is not the world coming in through your senses, but your brain's model of the world being continuously updated at the margins, and the sensory signals themselves, the photons hitting your retina, the pressure waves striking your eardrum, are not the content of your experience, but the error correction signal. The difference between what your brain predicted and what actually arrived. And this means that in a very real and scientifically precise sense, you are always, at every waking moment, experiencing a hallucination, a dream generated from the inside that happens to be loosely anchored to external reality by a thin trickle of sensory correction. And the difference between your waking experience and a dream is not that one is real and the other invented,
but that your waking hallucination is better calibrated, more tightly constrained by feedback from the world, while dreaming your brain simply runs its model without the anchor, which is why dreams feel real while you are in them, why you do not notice that the physics is wrong, or the faces are composite, or the narrative makes no sense, because reality always feels real from the inside, regardless of whether it corresponds to anything outside.
Verdict 4. Solidity is a fiction, and this is the verdict that physics insists upon most forcefully, because the chair you are sitting on, the floor beneath your feet, the screen in front of your eyes, the body you inhabit, none of these things are solid in any meaningful sense of the word. Because every atom in every one of these objects is almost entirely empty space, and if you were to scale a single hydrogen atom to the size of a football stadium, the nucleus would be a grain of rice at the center, and the electron would be a speck of dust somewhere in the upper tiers of the stands, and between them there would be nothing, no substance, no matter, no solidity, just the vast emptiness that makes up the overwhelming bulk of what we call physical reality. And the sensation of solidity that you feel when you press your hand against a table is not the experience of matter touching matter, but the experience of electromagnetic force. The mutual repulsion between the electrons in your hand and the electrons in the table, a force field pushing back against a force field, and your brain interprets this electromagnetic resistance as hardness, as solidity, as the comforting certainty of a physical world, because that interpretation was useful for survival, and so it persisted. But it is no more a true description of what is actually there than the sound of music is a true description of the air pressure waves that carry it.
Verdict 5. And this is the one I want you to carry into every room you enter for the rest of your life. The fact that your brain constructs reality rather than receiving it is not a reason for despair, but for the deepest possible awe. Because think about what this means. The colors you see are not properties of objects, but wavelengths of light, translated by 3 types of cone cells into the experience of red and blue and green, which means that color as you experience it does not exist outside of minds like yours, that the sunset you find beautiful is a phenomenon that requires a perceiver, that the universe was dark and colorless and silent for over 9 billion years before eyes like yours evolved on this pale blue dot, this mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, and brought color and sound and the smell of rain and the feeling of warmth into existence as experienced qualities. And consider that the iron in those cone cells, the calcium in the neural networks that process the signals they generate, the carbon in the myelin sheaths that insulate the axons that carry the constructed image of the world to your conscious awareness, all of it was forged in the nuclear furnaces of stars that lived and collapsed and scattered their substance across the galaxy before our sun was born, which means that the universe spent 13.8 billion years building the physical substrate required to perceive itself, that the stardust organized itself across cosmic timescales into a structure capable of constructing reality from raw electromagnetic data, and that what you experience when you see a star, even the distorted, delayed, electromagnetically narrow, predictively hallucinated version of a star that your brain presents to you, is the universe using borrowed stardust to look back at itself and find it beautiful. And so tonight, when you look up at the sky and see the stars, know that you are not seeing them as they are. Know that you are seeing a reconstruction half a second old, filtered through 0.0035% of the available spectrum, backdated and smoothed and delivered to you by a 3-pound prediction machine. And know that this is enough, that this imperfect, invented, constructed, hallucinated version of the cosmos is still the most extraordinary thing in the known universe, because it is the only version anyone has ever experienced, and it is yours.
Keep looking up, Dot. And if this journey changed the way you see the world, subscribe and stay with us, because the next exploration goes even deeper. Tell us in the comments, what mystery of the cosmos do you want us to unravel next?